I'm Aaron Sagers, and this is Talking Strange.
Ho, 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 spooky nerds, and welcome back to Talking Strange, a paranormal pop culture show. I'm Aaron Sagers, and this is the second installment of our episodes dedicated to the Boulet Brothers Holiday of Horrors. Now, Holiday Horrors is Shudder's all-new holiday special, and this is a 4-part anthology special that premieres December 16th on Shudder and AMC+. It is executive produced by Swanthula Boulet and Dragmorta Boulet, the Boulet Brothers, also known from Boulet Brothers Dragula reality competition series. It's also executive produced and hosted by actor, writer, producer David Dastmalchian, a friend of Talking Strange. And along with the Boulet Brothers, they are hosts that set up this anthology special. Now, within the special, we have stories written and directed by the Boulet Brothers, written and directed by Kate Siegel from The Haunting of Hill House and Gerald's Game, written and directed by Akela Cooper, who is a co-writer of Megan with 3 and Malignant, and also David Dastmalchian, who has a story in this. And let me tell you about that. In the story, Yeti or not, 3 close friends embark on a wilderness search to find their missing sister and friend. But what they discover in the snow is something more wild, more terrifying, more inhuman than they could have ever imagined. That was written by David, Leah Kilpatrick, as well as Jennifer Polania, who each of them appear in the episode as well. And Leah Kilpatrick is also the Yeti creature creator on Yeti or Not. So, to join us to talk about this entry in Holiday Horrors and Holiday Horrors at large is David Dastmalchian. So let's get to it. Let's talk about the Boulet Brothers Holiday of Horrors. All right, David, we are here to talk about the Holiday of Horrors.
Hello, my friend. I'm very nervous talking to you because you are, more than anyone I know, an expert on cryptos as well as horror in general. And even though we're friends, the fact that this is my first directorial, debut it's very nerve-wracking.
I feel like you're gonna be just fine because I know the monster kid that you are, and the fact that you were living this before you even directed this and got involved in this project. So we're gonna get into all sorts of creepy Christmas stuff. I wanna get to that, but you and the Boulet Brothers, this Holiday of Horrors Shudder special. I spoke to Dragmorta and Swanthula, and I was curious from your end. I know you guys are all tight. I know this is a tight group, but from your perspective, how did this Holiday of Horrors come to be? And also, it's not quite a variety show, but an anthology Christmas horror show. We don't see it a whole lot, even though we have a rich tradition, a century ago of it. So how did this come to be, and what was sort of your love with creepy and Christmas?
I've been a fan of the Boulet Brothers for such a long time. I'm such a huge fan of Dragula and their show. And then through both social media and thanks to the kind of connective bridge that was Phil Nobile Jr. from Fangoria introducing us, I was invited to come judge on an episode of Dragula many seasons ago. And the kindred spirit, fellow monster kid friendship thing just took off. Like, as soon as I was done judging that episode, I invited them to come over to play werewolf with our little coven of gaming witches, and they showed up, much to my surprise, and we have been very close ever since. And we both have a mutual love of cinema and storytelling and anthological storytelling. So a few years ago, we got the opportunity for Shudder to produce a Halfway to Halloween special, which was much more comedy, but very fun. And it was very much a variety show where you had musical performances from folks like our dear friends Twin Temple. You had sketches, comedy bits. This time around, as we got the invitation from Shudder to do another special, we thought, what is more haunting but never gets the credit for being as haunting as it is than the holidays? And how fun would it be to make it more anthological? There's still the concept of the hosting platform, the interstitials. It's got that TV special vibe, but this is much more in line with like a creep show, Tales from the Dark Side, and yet set on, the Yule.
And cheeky. I mean, this is right away we get the feeling of there's a playfulness to it, and then there's a range of different tones throughout the four stories, but you slip right into this world. It's fun, it's monstrous, and the Boulet Brothers, look magnificent as always. It's incredible design. Talk about your character design for this.
I love the look and feel of my hosting character. So basically, I am Corpse, who is very, for me, inspired by like some of the characters we might have thought of Boris Karloff portraying in the 1930s and 40s. And he's kept, down in the basement all year round with the piles of holiday decorations, and then when it's time to wake me up for the holiday season, they just plug in the lights and the electricity comes charging through me, and I get to wake up for a few hours or a few days, however much flesh I'm able to keep myself sustained on. And it's like their manservant. And I was so excited when the Boulets have so many wonderful artists around them, but their costume designers put together this amazing look for the characters, attire, which is again another great tribute to like the holiday specials of old. But Kelton, who is the makeup artist that did my makeup, did such an awesome job, and the look was so phenomenal. So I get in the Boulet Brothers Holiday of Horror special not one but two incredible makeups. But for my hosting character, who they just called David, I love that look so much.
And yeah, I mean, you were writing on this project. You have also the Yeti or not story, and directing. So this is now a lot for you to take on all on one project. How was the juggling of all of this? I mean, did you bite off a lot for this?
I almost bit off more than I could chew, to be quite honest. It was it was a great challenge. I was simultaneously, traveling back and forth to New York to film Dexter Resurrection, prepping to go to Australia to work on Street Fighter. I was, writing at that point, kicking off two different comic books that I was working on with my longtime writing partner, Leah Kilpatrick. So when the Boulets and I were like, okay, we're doing this, and we wanted to really try and shoot it in between their season of Titans and their 7th season of Dragula, because we then had access to the stage and a lot of equipment and some great crew that were still going to be, in the zone and ready to play. It was like very overwhelming, and them well. They're a small but mighty group of monsters, but my good fiends over here at Good Fiend Films, which is, Jenny and Natasha and Leah, everybody was contributing, everything from ripping up costume pieces here in the office to trying to get, oh my God, when the Boulets were like, we're going to do anthological and the shorts, I had read this short film that Leah and our friend Jenny had written, Jennifer Polania, who also is in the film. But when I read it, I remember thinking, like, I really want to make this at some point. And it was about a Bigfoot. Same story, same plot, similar at least, very similar, but it was about a Sasquatch. So when the holiday special started to become a reality, I was like, you know what, Leah? What if we changed it from a Sasquatch to a Yeti? And then she was like, that sounds awesome. And then I was like, and you're going to make a Yeti. And she was like, okay. And she did. In her living room of her apartment, she built that entire creature costume and the design. And it's epic. My friend Yako, who does all the creature effects on One Piece, helped us out by taking Leah's design for the teeth and building them for us. Our friend Casey Mussman from Nocturnal Designs helped in the getting all the makeup on, and then Nocturnal Designs did the big the big blood gags, which was really fun. But yeah, man, I'm always surrounded by good monsters and like you, and I collaborate with really good monsters. And so luckily I was on this first time outing as a director. I was just surrounded by really awesome people that made me look better than I should have.
I did. I really loved the Yeti design on this, and as someone that is as you said, a cryptid fan, I liked it. I felt it. I actually kind of felt like this could have been expanded into a larger story as well. I don't know.
I love that idea. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Okay.
The I don't know if this is just a random aside, but Brian Blessed, who is in Flash Gordon, Hawkman, right? He dedicated Yeti researcher.
Is he?
Oh yeah,
I
big
didn't
time.
know that.
Yep, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, strange,
Has
right?
he traveled? Has he gone to like Nepal and
I don't think anymore, but I don't know. I believe he had, honestly. So yeah, he's into that.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
now for you, let's talk about the creepiness of Christmas, and it's not that much of a stretch to look at all this stuff because even beyond Dickens, throughout folklore, there are stories of monsters during the Yule, the solstice, Saturnalia. So, but when did you connect the dots as far as like, hey, this time of year when everybody is happy and giving gifts and being all joyful, there's a creepy underbelly to this, and maybe it's a world also populated by monsters and magic.
Growing up in Kansas, I remember my favorite times around the holidays would be later at night when all the main lights were out and maybe just the Christmas lights around the tree were all that was illuminated. Driving home at night and seeing the like illuminated Christmas lights on people's doors. It's still dark. It's still spooky. There's still this energy and aura of hauntedness. And then sitting by a fireplace while outside everything is muffled by the blanket of snow that's kind of laying on top of everything and quieting everything. And you'd hear like crunch, crunch, crunch out the window, and it's like, oh, is that a neighbor dog? Is that a deer? What is that? The crunch, crunch, crunch. And then the popping of the fireplace and the notion that this, rosy cheeked, jolly old man was going to come sneaking into your house at night and knew what you'd been doing. I mean, he tells you quite blatantly, you better not shout, you better not pout, you better not cry, because he's watching you. All of it was like, oh, I was super spooked and I loved it. And of course, you know me, I always asked for like spooky or scary things for Christmas, which I rarely got. I was always so annoyed. I wanted like monster toys, monster books, monster magazines, monster art sets. But as a young person, remember like I was so thrilled when I saw like Gremlins, because that was it. I was like, oh, they get it. This guy gets it. This is it. This is awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, watching Kate Siegel's anthology it automatically takes me back to Phoebe Cates and
That
Gremlins. So
monologue,
yeah,
yeah, it's an incredible short. I think we're so lucky. The Boulets are obviously like just continuing to ascend in the world of horror and monsterdom. And I think people, not just in the Dragula fandom space, but in the mainstream, are starting to really recognize and see their incredible talent. And they are a magnet. They are a flame that many of us monster moths are drawn to. And we're so lucky. I got to co-produce this with them, but the fact that we got Kate Siegel, whose directing career is like really rocketing now, and anyone who saw what she got to do with VHS and who knows that she's now directing like really kick-ass stuff, we're so lucky, and she just crushed it. And we got to have Akela Cooper's directorial debut. I love her short. It's so spooky, and it even features one of the Dragula contestants from this year who's so talented, Abora. And then the Boulets, like they have a very strong voice that I'm excited for them to continue to develop in the narrative space. But yeah, Kate's in particular, you could quote me on this, is definitely going to be a fan favorite. And it's also going to be the one that gets us the most mail.
It, it's great because it echoes the or is homage to not just Gremlins but the old Rankin and Bass stop motion animation specials, holiday specials. And you know, I think about Rudolph. That was something that when I was watching that as a kid and loving it, that overall, like when you buy into Santa Claus, when you buy in the idea of Santa Claus and this mystery man and he has all these helpers and everybody's watching it all the time and you're building out the whole mythology, you're like, well, of course, if this guy can exist, then the other things that are creepy crawlies out in the dark must exist as well. You can't have one without the other. And the Rudolph special, well, we had the Bumble, so that's a Yeti right there. So it all ties nicely together, I think. If you're fortunate enough to do this again, this Holiday of Horrors special again, what else would you like to expand upon? And do you have other stories that you're like, we couldn't even get to this one this year, but let's put a
Oh,
pin on
there's
it?
so many wonderful creepy stories. Like you talk about, the old stop motion stuff. I love like old vintage cartoons. I was just talking earlier about Susie Snowflake and how creepy that one was back in the day. But yeah, I would love to see this become a holiday tradition. We didn't even get into some of the ideas that I had about the horrific presence that could be lurking underneath the tree. The carolers and the awful things that the Boulets want to do to all the people who are showing up on their doorstep expecting something in return. I think that there's all kinds of fun and fear to be had with some of this stuff. Oh my God, I would love that. I would love nothing more than get to have like, what is that thing wriggling in the stocking hanging from the chimney on Christmas morning? And I think if it's done in good spirit, in good humor, with love, people will really enjoy it. And there's still so many more. Like, what about like all the crazy stuff that the cooking traditions around the holidays? Imagine if you had an unhinged, like we had in the halfway to Halloween special, we had a very unhinged Barbara Crampton showing us how to cook and prepare things like a human torso. Imagine the holiday recipes.
It's true. And there are some strange ones out there actually throughout across cultures. So
Yeah.
the before we wrap up, before I let you go, uh, I don't know. I'm curious. What monster item do you hope is under the family tree for you this year? Are you hoping for anything?
Always, always, Aaron. I collect Halloween records, and so I will sometimes take photos of all the records that I already own, which is now numbering up around 70, and then share those with my family and say, if there's something that you find that is not on this list, please put it under the tree for David, and we'll see. Any form of monster toy, I'm gonna nerd out about. I love it.
Yeah, I feel like even especially as you get older, like you still need at least one or two, a couple toys under the tree. Like just pure like records are great, clothes are great, thoughtful gifts are great, but you still just need that toy to open up and just, tear open and play like right while you're under the tree, you know?
Yes, I agree. And I wish that's my holiday wish for everybody that they get to rip open at least one present under their tree or near their menorah or however they celebrate the holidays, and that there's a googly-eyed, bloody, screaming, squishy monster in there for you.
And you know what? Celebrating the creepy side, the darker side, I feel like you need that during the holiday season because as much as I do love the joyful element and the bright colors and everything, you gotta express. You gotta have like the expression of the darker side too. So that way, I think you can better enjoy the joyful gathering of things as well.
I agree. It with the Bermuda Triangle, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, it can be so wonderful, but it can also be difficult for people. Family is tricky and can be fascinating and interesting, and there's all of the things from our past, all of the fears for the future, all the things we're living in the present moment that are very overwhelming. So yeah, my wish is for everybody to snuggle up on their couch, string together some bloody popcorn, and watch the Boulet Brothers Holiday of Horrors and give each other the gift of fear.
You'll be happy you did.
You'll be next.
You'll be next. All right. I think that's our time for this. But
I love you, man. I know
so
we're
good seeing
meeting this week and talking again, so I'll talk to you soon. But definitely reach out to Leah, see if she got anything she wants to say about that Yeti costume, because I genuinely was like, it makes me look so good with the production design team and the way that the actors showed up for me. The fact that I was able to get Lauren Lavera to come in and do it for me was huge. I'm so grateful, and I'm glad you liked it.
I want more from the Yeti. Love it.
You got it. Love you, buddy.
All right. Talk soon, David. And that was David Dastmalchian talking about the Boulet Brothers Holiday of Horrors, which premieres December 16th on Shudder and AMC, plus this 4-part holiday horror anthology special. And David is also one of the writers and director of the Yeti or Not short. He's also one of the horror hosts that guide us through these different stories along with the Boulet Brothers. But we're not done yet. We have more episodes to go dedicated to Shudder's Holiday of Horrors. Next up is Akela Cooper, who is co-creator of the Megan franchise, Megan with a 3, Evil Robot, as well as writer of *Malignant*. And then we're going to talk to Kate Siegel from The Haunting of Hill House and Gerald's Game about their contributions to the Holiday of Horrors. So do check those out. Until you do, I'm Aaron Sagers. This has been Talking Strange. Be kind, stay spooky, keep it weird, and have a Merry Creepy Christmas.